G'day, as my father would say. Hello, welcome to Planet Collingwood. My name is Monty Dean. You are on Revolution Radio Studio A. A big thank you for Why Not and the Y-Files and crew, of course. Lovely chat. If you enjoyed the last 2 hours, please go to freedomslips.com and or revolution.radio and donate what you can, because Revolution Radio is 100% listener supported, 100% volunteer, just 100%, yo. I don't know. I saw a small child say that on Twitter, and I just took it there. Yeah, I'm, according to the calendar, I'm middle-aged. But let's move on.
Keep rolling. I like it.
Yeah, all right. That's all right. Yeah, I'll do my FM radio voice. That was Cortek, ladies and gentlemen. He'll be joining us in just a few moments. And coming up next on a personal from a personal experience, my life is over. Please kill me. Anyway, so yeah, Planet Collingwood. It's we're talking about current events, a lot of jokes, making fun of current events through jokes, and what a week! Hey, because weird stuff has happened, and we'll get through them. As you heard, once you're at Revolution Radio, revolution.radio, I do apologise, and freedomslips.com, please pop into the merchandising section and buy some paraphernalia so you can walk around the streets proudly wearing Revolution Radio's T-shirt caps, not a onesies, because that's for the kiddies, and key rings and so forth like that. And of course, if you're near Antifa, put on those running shoes and you'll be all right. Pop in, and after that, pop into the chat room, and we've got let's see, what did Flippy say their name is? Planet Flippywood. There's a T-shirt. And apparently in chat, there's a full comma Monty. Not me, unless it's another me from another dimension coming through as me in the same chat room. Yeah, we are multidimensional.
Could be.
And the barriers between dimensions are thinning. Like the hair on Michelle Obama's head. Anyway, and we've also been joined by our local correspondent, because I got to keep telling myself don't say where he is. We've been joined by Pony. Thank you, Pony. He was miming hello there. Or he's struggling to unmute himself with his hooves.
I like the mime thing better. It's funny. Starts with.
It's all only one word with a hoot. Yeah, anyway, Pony, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Well, hello. Oh, geez, calm down. You're going to hurt yourself. Yeah, I'm all right. And a big shout out to Mr. Rowe or Dr. Rowe, Dr. Mr. Rowe. All hail the Rowe Nation in the chat room. And RD47 is there, my trusty droid from Arizona, which, if I had to move, Arizona's a place I would visit to start with to see what would happen. It depends if I like that dry heat. Being Australian, it's like, yeah, it's Tuesday here. So there you go.
Be pretty good dirt biking country out there, I reckon.
Yep, and UFOs. Let's just be fair. A lot of you've got native nations as well, and it's got everything. Soulfly, Megadeth, a lot of bands come through the Phoenix area, and so yeah, it's the only problem is. Yeah, the only problem is the Californians fleeing California and moving to Arizona and bringing their crap. And allegedly, the recall count was yesterday, technically, or still is Tuesday. I mean, it's 4:00 in the afternoon for all of us. Hello from the future. The east coast of Australasia, or as I call New Holland, because government sucks and I refuse to acknowledge them. I rather acknowledge the 700 native tribes and nations. Yo.
What did they call it? They didn't call it New Holland.
I don't. Ours. I think they call it ours.
Probably a name we can't pronounce.
Yeah, this is ours. Get off.
This is no one's.
Yeah. Well, actually, the land owns us, and we're here to take care of it.
Something far more profound like that.
Yeah. Why are you wearing woolen jackets in this heat, you moron? What's with the wigs, white man?
Did you see New Zealand wants to, or some people want to rename New Zealand back to its Maori name?
Which is what?
So I can't say it, mate. I don't know. Antarini or something.
Yeah. See,
is it more catchy or less catchy?
Yeah. I would say less.
Yes.
New Zealand?
New Zealand. Yeah, they had
would
that
you go
already.
after that?
Well, the land of the long white cloud doesn't really fit on a number plate. So
I like that, though. It's very visual.
Yeah. Well, because it's basically just a mountain range. when the sea level was 400 feet lower.
Do they want to change it to Zealand? So is there an old Zealand?
Yes, there is. It's in the Netherlands.
Oh, okay, wrong place.
Aotearoa. Just the guy who made Thor, Waikiki. Just rename it him.
No, he's not funny. He's annoying. I don't like him. It's a personal.
Oh, he's not funny, but he makes great movies.
Well,
did you see the movie Netflix he's done about the Native Americans in? I think it's not Canada. It's in America. That looks hilarious.
Who
are you guys talking about?
Waikiki, the guy who did Thor Ragnarok. No,
okay.
Yes. Was it Ragnarok? Yeah.
Yes.
He plays the rock monster. Oh, look, there's Doug. Doug's an idiot. That one.
I thought that was fun. I really liked that tiny little bit. It's good New Zealand accents. Just have a little chuckle. Yeah, but it might be a local thing as well. I don't know if other people feel that way.
No, I probably just, someone said, "Oh, it's hilarious." I laughed through it. I'm watching, it going, "Well, I'm glad you did." I just know
it sounds a little bit harsh, right?
Well, I've worked behind the comedy curtain.
Bitter?
I live in Victoria. I'm on the internet all the time, and I'm told because I'm a white man.
Water supply.
Yeah, so I should be slowly upset about my white rage. It could be just jealousy of like people like that level of crap. My crap's better than that.
They're gonna ban white wine.
Yeah, or is it crap? Well, especially German white wine.
Extra froth.
Yeah. If I only knew a Jewish drink, I could say.
You pour it out of your hat.
Yeah, well, no, it's just in the local liquor land. There's been issues in the aisle. So, hey, very quickly, we'll introduce. Aust Paul has joined us as well. Another Victorian. How are you, Paul? Yeah, if you're going to join,
there he is.
Just be prepared that you'll talk.
Irritable mute syndrome.
Sorry. No. I always like at least 3 or 4 minutes before making sure that I can make sure the mute's working. Otherwise, I'll just be silent. But anyway, keep going.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we have permission from Paul. Well, first off the bat, I would like to acknowledge we lost a comic giant in the last 24 hours. Unfortunately,
when did we last see him?
Noel Macdonald lost his battle with cancer. Apparently, he was battling cancer for 9 years, but he kept it secret. And I can't understand why, because he said, I'm a comedian and I didn't want people, if you're doing an act, you don't want to sit there and go, he's dying. It's like, you don't get the laughs.
Sympathy laughs, not the same.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, nah, I'm here to make people laugh and enjoy themselves. They don't really need to know about my crap in behind the curtain type thing. And I put it down to is, let me say, oh, hang on. I'm just producing myself. Yeah, I know. I just being a comedy show is like, oh, that's a bit tubing. But don't worry, this is not a Zoom call. So what? I threw you with a CNN reference.
Just imagine what Monty's doing with his hands now. It's a flurry. He goes in the shell when those hands split into like the typing fingers of 8 fingers.
Yeah, well, Street Fighter 2 with Honda or Hondo with the 1,000 slap.
Yeah,
it's the 1,000 fap. Anyway, I think Noel Macdonald basically said, hey, did you see the speech that the president did over the weekend? Yeah, good luck with that. I'm leaving. See ya. I can't do a Noel Macdonald voice, so there you go.
Who is Noel Macdonald?
Who is Noel? Oh my God, man! You are going to have so much fun onto this show because, like, he's hilarious. Okay, I'll give you an example.
Reynolds' brother.
No. Well, they're both clowns. Hey,
Noel
keeping
Macdonald,
it topical.
Okay.
Noel Macdonald.
Gene Macdonald, Canadian stand-up.
All right. Read in your head, not out.
He wrote Roseanne.
Sorry, what is it we're talking about?
people.
No, a comedian died from cancer in the last 24 hours, and we're talking about
too soon. Can't laugh that hard.
Anyway, I'll give you a hint of Norm's work. He used to be on Saturday Night Live, which I don't find funny except for the Weekend Update, which Norm used to do. And 2 years in a row, this joke actually is over 12 months. The first time, at the start of the 12 months, he said, and this week there was a study in America of the worst job in the United States. And the winner was crack whore. And so that's the joke there. And then 12 months later, it was a keeper 12 months later. And it's that time of the year again when there was a survey of the worst job in the United States. Last year, it was crack whore, titter of laughter from the crowd. This year, it's assistant crack whore. So
don't mind a good titter, being involved in a good titter.
Yeah, so that's a bit Norm Macdonald. That's like. Now, we do have our correspondent from Boston. He may be able to shed light on Mr. Macdonald's work a little bit more for the uninitiated. Brandon, are you there, sir?
Hey, everybody. It's me, Norm Macdonald, coming in from in between state. I've passed on, and we're figuring out if we're going to heaven.
Have you seen The Matrix? Yeah. You know when Neo ends up in that train station? It's kind of like that.
Yeah, I said to the guy, I said, hey, am I going to go straight to hell or right to heaven? And they said, well, you're going to have to figure out. So I'm here anyway. Anyway, no, rest in peace, Norm Macdonald.
Yes, only 61.
Incredible. Only 61, battle of cancer. But one of my favorite comedians. Never pulled any punches. Was not politically correct. Said what was on his mind. And wrote a great book. And was one of the actual, I think, geniuses in terms of writing, in terms of quick wit, on shows, as a talk show guest. I mean, this guy was a legend, and I'm gonna miss him. So anyway.
Yeah. Well, I just remembered a couple of other jokes. Like he got fired from Saturday Night Live because he kept making O.J. Simpson jokes. And so when OJ got acquitted or had the case thrown out of court, the first thing Norm said at the Weekend Update, well, California has made murder illegal. Murder legal.
Murder is now illegal in the state of California.
Yeah.
And everybody started laughing. I mean, and that's what got him fired.
Yeah, strangely enough, because one of the
truth.
Yeah, well, one of the producers of said show that worked at NBC was good friends with O.J. Simpson. So, yeah, good times.
Which,
good times.
it's
good friends.
I almost made a joke today on Twitter, but it's too soon. But it is kind of ironic that O.J. is still alive, right? I mean, it is.
Yeah. Well, you can say it on this show because I'm sort of goading YouTube to throw me off, especially after last week. So, like last week, your Cortek said, "Oh, this is a bit edgy." Nothing, absolutely nothing. So I'll have to wait for the cancel culture. I've got to wait a decade to be cancelled because that's how they work.
If you're an artist, just wait till you're dead to be popular.
Yeah, well, no. Unless I know who I'm reincarnating as, and that will go in my will. Yeah, see?
Yeah, tricky business that. I get another plan for you right away. We'll get back to you on that one.
4D chess there, my friends.
Put a pin in that one.
Oh, well, speaking of California, apparently it's still a shithole because Gavin Newsom allegedly is going to stay governor. However, it's an election in the United States. So, I mean, do we really trust them anymore?
Where's Viking for our California report?
I don't know. He's in Northern California, so he could be on fire still.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, because they're on fire. Yeah, I mean, there's massive tents. Black Plague has turned up in the homeless people during a pandemic. Black Plague is in the homeless section, and there's a thing that can actually cure that called sanitation.
Well, it's funny is some Neanderthals have turned up.
Yeah.
I'd like to say that I think America has learned their yearly fires from us, and now got a annual distraction for everyone to take up a couple months.
Well, did you see the irony, hypocrisy, and just AOC's being stupid again? There was the Met Gala, which allegedly it's a charity. Tickets are worth $30,000 for one ticket to get in because it's for charity.
And what's the charity?
Well, I don't know.
Where does the money go?
To the Met, which is the museum.
Do my research.
It goes to the galas.
Yeah,
that makes complete sense.
Yeah, of course. A New York museum is sponsoring the galas in South Australia. Now they're like, we've got 7. Where's all the money going? Shut up. I'll put you out.
It's basically a Rockefeller.
We're still selling tickets.
You know? Yeah. Basically, yeah. And so for those that missed it, if you've seen the Hunger Games, it's similar to that. But she turns up as in a white gown, and she's like, I'm a little princess, and smiling and hugging, no masks. Only the servants have masks, all the rich and elite maskless. But her dress was white and in red paint or blood. Who knows with these elite people?
In truth, they're already wearing a mask.
Which celebrity again?
AOC, I don't know, Alexandra Cortez, the young congresswoman who doesn't like to be called a young lady, even though she's a young woman from age.
Never heard of it.
You've never heard of AOC? Well, and you do code? Please.
Add that one to the code book.
Yeah, she's got the face of a horse. Anyway.
Hey.
It's an ivory carver's dream. Have you seen those teeth? It's like, Pierre was going, I could just take one of those teeth and work on it for months and come out with a masterpiece. Now, what was on the dress, it actually had tax the rich. It's like, really?
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, like the irony
she's a singer.
No, she's a congresswoman.
Well, that's why I don't know.
Yeah, fair call.
Basically,
disgusting.
She was a bartender, and some people find her attractive. And I remember, I'll have to censor it because we're on free-to-air radio still. Someone in the Democratic Party is like, I'm getting screwed over because apparently this woman is affable. It's like, that's good marketing. Yeah, she's just like googly eyes, stupid.
She's just basic. I mean, the thing is, and I did see that photo, this Met Gala, which every year everybody does some kind of stupid thing. Katy Perry was a chandelier one year, whatever. Who cares, right?
Yeah, but it's all about the costumes.
If you've ever seen these Rockefeller parties, these Eyes Wide Shut parties from like the early 70s and stuff, where the Rockefellers are having these parties. Rich people are dressing up because they have nothing better to do.
Yes.
But for her to have no tax the rich on her dress at the Met, it's like the most ironic, awful thing.
And she was being, I'm protesting. No, you're not. You accepted the ticket. You had your meal. You were shaking everybody's hands. You were smiling, and you were getting celebrity points for wearing tax the rich. Like, oh my God, girlfriend, can you also model? It's like, wow, you're one of our political leaders.
Wow.
Sarah,
actually, it's on her back. She might not have known. Hey, there's something on your dress.
Well, no, she does, because she actually sells long sleeve T-shirts at $58 US, saying tax the rich. If you, I see her irony. So it's not her first moment of ironicness.
She's just doing a little bit of promo work, advertising.
She's basically, yeah, herself. She's sponsoring herself, yeah. Because just the ridiculous of it. So, wow.
Yep, that's Earth for you.
And I'm trying to hold off Coof Corner because I like how Cortek calls it that. So we'll get to that eventually. But let's see. Let's just try and go around the world first before we enter Coof Corner.
Yeah, let's keep flying.
Yeah, well,
keep the plane going. Just go over.
So,
Coof Island.
Welcome to Coof Island. Here's your hanky. Did we see the fallout of Emperor Biden doing his speech over the weekend?
Oh my God, I didn't see the fallout, but I saw a bit of the speech and lines like, you're starting to test our patience.
No, before that, he said, it's not about freedom. It's not about your freedom. It's not about choice. You have to do this, and you're testing our patience. And it's like, Grandpa, a breeze can take you down. Don't test me.
Is it how it could have been straight from some Bond movie, really. He could have been holding a cat when he said that.
Oh, come on, man.
Test our patience. Like, and he's like black beady little eyes looking down the camera, Like,
they wouldn't trust the cat with him because the cat would rip him to shreds. Because, I mean, the man broke his ankle patting his dog.
Right. Well,
coming out of the shower.
I think he was talking about his next nap.
I'm sure someone came up with a joke to do with Biden and a PDF file.
Hey, I don't think they have it. That might be a little bit too highbrow.
Well, it's there.
Yeah. Welcome to Planet Collingwood, where we actually it's the IKEA comedy where you construct your own jokes. We just give you the parts, and the fun part of reading the instruction manual from IKEA when you're drunk is sometimes you mispronounce the words and you summon Norwegian demons.
Sick.
Cool. Oh, what is it, my master? Fix this cabinet, will you? A cabinet again. Damn you, IKEA. Damn you, IKEA. For thousands of years, I ruled the wastelands, and now I have to fix your honey bunch.
Yes, you have no IKEA, man.
I fought the frost giants, and now I will build your cabinet.
Where is the Allen key?
Bring me the screwdriver.
I lost it. I don't know.
What did he?
And yet the travelers.
Damn you, human.
My turn. And yet the travelers keep on traveling within their 5 to 10k radius.
No, we're not in Coof Corner yet. Can you do this?
Maybe.
Yeah. And another negative, terrible news: the Simpsons have started season 33. Yeah, that's my reaction as well. It's like, really? Okay, it's still going. Should have stopped about a decade ago.
It's like Madonna.
Oh yeah, she turned up at the VMA, the Video Music Awards, and apparently, the straight people aren't allowed there anymore.
Hey?
See, I don't even watch these things anymore. So I watch these things so you don't. I don't even look at the highlights, mainly because it's like, Madonna, who's 84, turned up as
85.
Sorry, the year 2020. It's a year out of time. But she turned up as like the female version of the biker dude from the Village People. And I have no idea what she said. It's like, I'm being shocking. It's like, yeah, you are, but not the way you think.
She's had so much plastic surgery, her lips are sealed like Neo.
Oh, yeah, she looks like a small Campuchian boy. It's like, if you remember her, she's having a bath of milk. And it's like, what sex toy is this? Oh, my God, that's Madonna.
She looks like Sophia the robot.
Yeah, or one of those other robots they sell in Japan. I'm marrying this one because I love her. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's no consent involved, but you do you, sir. And also Little Nas, who's homosexual, and there's nothing wrong with that. The problem is he's basically gyrating in front of 8-year-olds, which is kind of a problem. He's the one who did the video where he did a lap dance for Satan.
Right.
And he sold Nikes with vials of blood in it without telling Nike.
Yeah. He gave Biden a lap dance.
No. The Biden's not. No, he's a puppet. He's a well, mate. I'm going to the White House. Hello.
Have you seen the movie Fallen?
I saw the cover of it.
What? Someone's done a cover?
I'm done.
I think it was about some army dude or something.
No, I don't think it's not Olympus Fallen or Australia's Fallen or London has fallen.
All right, next question.
I saw the cover of it.
Have you heard of the Bible? Yes. Let's move on then.
I saw that at Video Easy in 1994.
Actually, I can pick it out of a bunch of books.
It's a movie. That's how I'll pick it out. In a bunch of books, it's the movie. That's how easy it is here.
Have they made the Bible into an audiobook yet? Of course they must have.
Yes, but who's doing it though? Sharon! Oh, and then Jesus came down from the heavens. And anyway, I actually haven't read the Bible, but I've seen all the Charlton Heston movies, and they're quite good, like Ben-Hur and the Ten Commandments and
Soylent Green.
Yeah. Is that one of the? Is that
we're growing up?
Yeah, but is Soylent Green one of those books in the Dead Sea Scrolls? Because it's not in the current. It's not in the current Bible.
I think it is.
In the Apocrypha, yeah.
Yeah. Is that the missing book from Revelations?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, your yin to his yang. Yeah, my God. And yang goes well with correct. But anyway, that's a funny with the yin yang scale. It's not anything indifferent. But the fun part about it is the idealisms of the forefathers have actually taught us especially in film that we're referring to, of the old movies that used to go for 3.5 hours. And,
used to have the credits on the front of them.
Yeah. My question is, who are these forefathers, and should I speak to my mother?
I know. Tell me that.
7 years ago, 7 scorn and 20 years ago, my forefathers sat me down and said, listen, we have to have a talk.
Listen, your mum's got 4 husbands.
Mormon. Oh, fair enough.
As you were, Paul.
Alaikum salam. Sorry, that's a different scenario. Forefathers and this and that. And I was mainly going to the old school films, the ones that used to go 3.5 hours, with multiple casts and all for real.
What kind of genres?
Didn't say.
Well, the biblical ones, the one we're talking about, like, Ben-Hur, which, goes for Spartacus with Kirk Douglas. And I wish I could do a Kirk Douglas impression right now.
Who can? I don't know anyone who can.
Well, no, because it's old now.
No, I'm asparagus.
I'm asparagus and so's my wife.
I'm asparagus.
I'm spacious.
Yeah, I've got spacious areas in Australia. Oh, sorry, I'm Spartus.
And then you've got the classic Viking movie with him and I've gone blank. Tony Curtis, where he gets his hand cut off. See, now we're talking about these.
These are the Chinese Whispers version.
Yeah, these are classic movies when Paul and I were young in the 80s. So they're completely ancient now to Generation Z.
Yeah,
what, you had
totally.
You had colour movies in the 20th century? Yes.
No, we had black and white with hands getting chopped off, and then they turned colour.
Yeah, around about in 1932, I think The Wizard of Oz was the first movie to have colour.
Wasn't that fantastic?
And it was only 4 years after The Jazz Singer, which is Al Jolson. And you can't bring that up now because that was a white man in blackface doing Mammy.
Yeah, that's not cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's still back in the day. That freaked out the audiences because 20 years of science films, 20 years of silent films, and all of a sudden you could actually hear this guy going, "Wah!" It's like, because they realised they can combine sound and vision at the same time, where there's a soundtrack on the side. But you do it all the time.
But not to be rude or crude, Mammy actually brought out the Gollywog in Australia.
Oh, really? I thought it would have been the Noddy books that are banned in certain countries now because of the Gollywog.
I think you're both.
No. Well, okay. Go from the UKX perspective, please. Come on, Cortek.
What are we doing?
What? Huh?
Next question.
What? Okay. Did we just have a Joe Biden moment? What? Huh? Come on.
I think we did.
I'm going to get in trouble for taking questions.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Come on, man. Yeah.
So, like, hey, I get in the swimming pool and I let the kids touch my legs. Okay, Joe, get away from the microphone. What? Huh? Come on.
My legs go blonde in the sun. Kids like to touch them.
Yeah, and then Corn Pop would, oh, I can't tell you about that.
Come on, man.
Come on, man. What? Yeah. So, yeah, California's still got Newsom, and people's like, no, we have to keep him in because, like, you know, if you want to finish off a state, you really want to ram it home because, you know, inflation and, yeah, drought and fires and homelessness. And, yeah, that sounds like the American dream.
Anyone see any footage recently? I don't know. It's probably all just crisis actors again. But of people, like, I don't know where, downtown somewhere in America, and people were wandering around like zombies. They're either high on something, but they're kind of all hunched over. It was like they were doing a zombie
flash mob.
Flash mob, yeah.
No, but who knows? With because parody and satire are losing its power because reality is just getting weirder. It could have been just normal. Who knows? I mean, there was that, I think in Florida, like the latest drug craze is to inhale bath salts.
Okay.
Yeah.
What does that do?
What
Keeps you
clean?
Well,
if you put it in water in your bath, it's a nice.
Yeah,
that's why they're called bath salts, Paul. You put these salts in the bath. And they cleanse you and they make you smell nice, and sometimes they're colourful and fluffy.
Is it for exfoliating?
Yeah. Possibly.
Yeah, yes, it is. It's homeopathic. But anyway, you're not allowed to say that over the air because it'll do.
It's
like I keep on saying. Yeah, it's homeopathic. You know, we could be in trouble for
saying it wrong. Meanwhile, right now, Paul and Tony, you'll love this. There's a helicopter flying over my house right now. I don't know if you can hear it.
Genocidal. Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to kill everything around. No. Homeopathic stuff is actually old school, nans.
Yeah, we know what homeopathy is. Yeah.
Next question.
Even those people in the insurance industry knows what it is because they're not insuring it anymore because that's how awesome Australia is. Yeah, or I'm not sure about Melbourne, but the rest of the country is a penal colony because it's hard. Melbourne, you've gone back to a penal colony, yeah, but Melbourne was never a penal colony, so it's new.
Thanks very much.
Yeah. Sydney. So yeah, and just the insanity. Go. All right, we've tripped into Coof Corner, and there's a lot of smoke in the air. So
all right, what bloody week is it in Coof Corner?
Oh, we're up to 80 now, aren't we? 85.
No, it's not that big.
Yeah. Are you going to Looney Park, Melbourne, and Sydney now?
We could be on week 77.
I'm sure it's more than that. Don't make me. You're going to make me look. You're going to make me bloody look, aren't you?
We'll have. Yeah, we'll look.
You've got the computer.
All right. I'll do. Oh yeah. I love when ask a question on the internet. You do know you have the Library of Atlantis at your fingertips. Shut up. I'll be on the Vales on it right now.
Shut up. Yeah. Send me a link.
All right. Okay. So hang on. Oh, that's a right roll. I'll just click on that. Yeah, thank you. I don't know if anyone heard that, so I'll just save that now. Oh, choices. Jeez, this is
stay on target. Stay on target.
Luke, you've turned off your targeting computer. It's all right.
I've got this crazy ghost guy and a droid in the back. They're both talking to me.
Luke Skywalker's from New York. Hey, Stan gets it everywhere, all right?
Exterminate.
Pew.
So 71, 72, 73, 74, 75.
So they unlocked.
She's not even
locked down Ballarat.
77 weeks.
Yes.
That's what I
heard.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, right. And okay. Ballarat, Shepparton's coming out of lockdown, but Ballarat's going right back in. So the baton has been passed.
Yeah, tonight's by 12 o'clock, my sister actually rang me up earlier and my mum saying, no, you can't come up, because I'm in between Ballarat and both. Well,
you're also 5 kilometres out of it.
Yeah. Well, no, it's
logic.
55k. 55k each way to each town. Stuck in the middle, right? So, Mum's had a couple of injections, so she should be free to roam around, shouldn't she?
No. No.
Oh, that's that big assumption everyone's thought.
I know. This is so funny, right?
You don't think they would have looked ahead just to make sure the firebrigade got it right?
Know.
Something like that.
I'll
get this if you let me travel.
Your problem here is you're thinking health, but they're thinking control because because apparently in certain parts of the planet where even if you've had COVID, you still have to have the vaccine. It's like, well, why?
Well, everyone knows it doesn't work. Doesn't stop you getting it or transmitting it. And people say, well, but if you had got it, it would make this it would make the symptoms less. And you go, well, that's what any snake oil salesman would say, wouldn't they? Anyone would say that.
Well, and also, have you seen the reports?
Who deals in the future is a con man.
Yeah, and also the reports from Victoria. Oh, the health system's buckling because there's 100 people in the ICU. It's like, really, 18 months into a pandemic that's global, and that's why we had 2 weeks to flatten the curve, so the health system would be overrun, and you've done nothing except for increased suicides, mental health.
Oh my God. Mismanagement, dangerously incompetent mismanagement at every single turn. This is every single week, and this is week 77. It's like you guys, you shouldn't be managing this. All of them. I mean,
honestly,
not. In fact, just having a look at the knee instead of the whole body.
Sorry, Corey. Yeah, the people at the top should be accountable of their actions at the moment. Right? That's all I know.
It depends who you're talking about there as well.
Yeah, I know. It'd be funny if we brought back the noose.
Well, Victoria, technically, even in law, Daniel Andrews should be up on charges for industrial negligence for the original hotel quarantine debacle in April last year.
Yeah,
and not paying the people that was in the fire. Also, the bushfires down in Victoria, Victoria.
Well, I'm sure he's
they still haven't been paid out. No. There's a lot of them have committed suicide also, right?
I just got a message from Daniel Andrews himself. Check it out.
We are the robot. Lower your shields and surrender your ships. We will add your biological and technological distinctiveness to our own. Your culture will adapt to serve as us. Resistance is futile.
Yeah, that sounds like him.
The Borg.
Yeah, too bad there was a pillow over the microphone, but
I'd like to see a little bit of.
Oh shit! I swallowed it. Hang on.
I'd like to see people just accountable. It's this whole kind of we'll use these people as scapegoats to bring in whatever we want to bring in, and they'll be off. Or we'll give them a bank job over here, and then they won't be to blame. We'll bring in a new set of actors.
But the thing is, Cortek, New South Wales has gone, oh, I see you, Victoria. Hold my skinny latte, and we'll do better. Like the draconian, the vaccine passports and the medical apartheid they're trying to bring in.
It's nothing but discrimination, which is everything wrong about society.
And I think, how many nurses aren't actually vaccinated? And people are going, "Oh, that's shocking." It's like the real question is, why don't they want to get the vaccine?
A lot are now it's coming to that hard line where a lot are just saying, there's at least half a dozen law cases coming up from people on the front line, be they nurses or police or whatever, that have started in the last week, since last Thursday.
We just say no.
Yeah, that's what they're
doing.
Under
the mainstream. No,
it will take them too long. I'm not attracted to them. I don't think I really need to go that far.
Okay.
But also, I did see a headline in The Age. It was on their Twitter. I don't read The Age. I start fires with it, but I'm sharing too much. Apparently, the teachers' union of 30,000 people is like, no, we're against mandatory vaccinations.
Yeah.
And so the backlash has started, I think, over the weekend, people are going, wait a minute, the government shouldn't rule my life. No. They represent us.
It's just another way to divide people.
Oh, yeah, but it's not working because they're pushing back on it because Bondi and the northern beaches in Sydney were full of people over the weekend. And it's like, oh, stop it, can't.
It's set up to go round and round. Sorry, Paul. Go.
Yeah, no, but the police and the government are referring to the absolute power of the people. That's what it used to be. That's what it still should be.
Well,
and
yes,
what is this forced bullshit? No, it's unscrupulized and, hello, you're all guinea pigs. Get stuffed. Especially when Joe Rogan actually proved it, President Trump proved it, and others, right? And if you've already had it, you're already immune. I'm pretty sure most Melbourne have had the first corona.
Senator Paul actually said that on, I think Fox News or somewhere like that, and everyone started yelling at him. Yeah, and
Senator Paul ran.
Yeah, he said why there are 11 million people that have actually had the coronavirus and survived. Why do they need to mask up and all that type? And he got dumped on
exactly. Why do they need the vaccination? It's just bloody unbelievable.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to answer your questions, but you keep asking
what we
questions.
What we already know
is
no, it's rhetorical because the mainstream media is actually run by the Murdochs.
Only half of it. Only half of it. The other half aren't.
Oh, okay. Okay, so it's not.
Let's step back for a moment and just wait. There's only two groups of people controlling the mainstream media in Australia. Nothing sus.
Nothing sus there.
But even though Sky News has been, outliers, but they're sort of challenging the narrative, and the left supporting people go, oh, that's just Murdoch. They use the ownership of Murdoch of that's just Murdoch propaganda, even though they're actually going against Murdoch
it's interesting how.
Yeah, I know. It's so funny.
It's interesting on the surface level of how people are looking now in terms of everything. People are just so worn down even to look into things or even check things now. And this is when government's going to try and pass more of these in the middle of the night laws that have come and bite you in the ass.
Here in Australia,
mind you, they did give themselves a pay rise.
Yeah, yes, that's not funny.
Nothing sus at all.
Funny.
Nothing sus there.
In the last couple of days, the Victorian Police have created 2 command centres for COVID, and they expect it to be in operation till the end of 2022. And what do you know that you're not telling us?
We have army helicopters flying.
Wonder if they got TV that have CCTV.
Correct. Yeah, we have. Okay, this is Australian poll. We have army helicopters flying daily around our suburbs because they have to bring them out because the police helicopters are trying to go so far and do so much. Hello, and honestly, they're just busting the common person, not the people who are really stealing or, doing the massive big importation of drugs and this and that. No, because they've got their hands out.
Okay, I'll just translate for the dear listener. The army has been brought in to enforce the COVID restrictions because the general public are telling the government where to stick it. And so that's basically the problem because the police forces stretch very thin. And so they need in the United States, they probably use the National Guard for natural disaster responses and stuff like that. So I know in Sydney they've got the army. They're not armed, so that's a good thing, helping out. And also I think on the borders helping out as well. But it's just a crap show.
Waste of time. Big waste of time. But the bigger waste of time is, I don't know, it's really hard. There's so many people just so apathetic to the whole thing. Most of the people who have just gone along with the government and now feel double-crossed by the government. Seem to
we
be this
already
weird.
knew they were liars.
Seem to be in this weird limbo land where to actually acknowledge the problem they need to get over their own ego that they made the wrong decision first to do that. So there's still a lot of people hoping for the best. As an easier way for them to just keep their heads down.
The narrative is get the vaccines and you'll be safe. And yet Iceland and parts of India, Israel, all these places that are super vaccinated, they're still going. They're going back into lockdowns and restrictions and masks, and they're talking about boosters already. And there's also I think I've seen a bit of Fauci. Like there's this idea that the immune system is weaker than the vaccine, and it's like no.
It's just late night vacuum salesman. That Fauci dude is just a little con man.
Exactly.
You're
right.
Him.
He does suck. Yes, he does.
Hey.
Suck.
How do anyone trust a face like that? How do we keep going? This is just so ridiculous how long this has gone for. Are we hanging on to this to try and bring in more 5G or something like that because that was behind the ball when this all started? Is that why this is taking so long? More stuff to wear us down so we get sicker and sicker, and then we'll bring in next year's profit for Pfizer.
Well, I would agree with that part of the pharmaceutical companies making profit hand over fist, and there's no liability involved, which is like, I'm sorry, what? And yet the trials still haven't happened. But because my parents split up and they remarried, so I've got 4 parents instead of 2. They're all vaccinated, but they're also all over 70. And so from their perspective, they're protecting themselves. Yeah. And, honor the free wills, like, cool. There's a dark part of me is like, well, inheritance. But I try and skip over that because that's just dark.
Sure,
very
do
dark.
What you want.
Go ahead. Yes.
Hurry up, Mum, die.
I booked you in for your second round.
Yeah, so, but I didn't share that. That's stricken from the board.
And if you're listening, Mrs. Dean, just jokes, just jokes.
Yeah, it was totally fun.
That's not her name anymore, but What a big bank account. I mean, what a big heart you have. Yes.
Hey, I got 6 siblings as well as I, so yeah, good luck to any heart or bank account. I just love my grandparents and this and that, and I've got no kids, so where's my money going?
The problem is about inheritance. Is you lose a family member, and it's like, well, that's not really a good trade-off. I'd rather have my family
trade-off at all. Yeah, everyone would.
Yeah,
I've done.
You just ask for loans, and anyway.
Nighthawk and my old man done very similar days on kicking the bucket, and I go, oh, you buggers, just to. I don't know, Nighthawk probably proved me fucking, sorry. Nighthawk proved me that that still happens, and the reasons why you got to look out for yourselves, and the reasons why we're on Revolution Radio, and as respect for the NK.
Yeah, there is that
without
element.
him, we wouldn't be here, so...
Yes, because, he started the whole shebang and we're still here doing it for him.
That's up to Nightcall.
Yeah. There is an element of selfishness of like, in a plane crash, or when the plane is crashing, I mean, obviously after the plane's landed, you can't really do it, but they always say put the oxygen masks on you first and then help other people. So there's you do a service to others is actually a little bit of selfishness of making sure that you're okay. It's like I've had friends where I'll do anything for my kids. It's like, and I'm sure one of them, your kids would want you to have a good life. It's not, you're not their slave to be run down and have social life and enjoy things. It's you actually have to shine on like a crazy diamond, and then you can help other people. It's when the ego comes in. It's like, I'm doing this for me and no one else. It's like, well, good luck with that. It's not going to work out well.
Exactly. I agree. Totally. You can't, if you're going to be forceful or whatnot, or, Actually, I'm not going to go too far on this one, but forcefulness and trying to put your portrayal on other people won't work. You stand back, listen, and then listen again.
You hear that?
Whoever that was to. Sounds very specific. Do you have a story to tell us, Paul?
Well, no, if I make it in a broad spectrum thing, it's...
I wasn't listening.
What? Come on, man. The far left, because I still believe there's good people in the left, because they look at the far left and like, dude, sit down. You're ruining it for everybody else. Shut up. Like, because have you noticed in like the last 10 years, like the right and conservatives were the enemy, and now they're full of common sense. But the far left ones, where it's like peace, love, mung beans, do what you want, do no harm, are telling you what to do every moment of your life now. You have to do. Let's see, I'll edit it. But in the 90s, it was like F you, I won't do what you tell me, and now it's F you, you will do what I tell you. It's like
love the 90s.
How did this change? What's going on? It's kind of weird. Where the left have turned into fascists, like Antifa. It's like, well, you should be just called FAR, because we're smashing the fascism by acting like them. How does this work?
Yeah, I feel like it's always been there. Like the left. I mean, you look at socialist countries like Russia. Yeah. And so on. And you see how they can be just as authoritarian and tyrannical as anybody on the so-called, right,
Yeah. But when the right, like the poster people, because, I don't want to offend all the 17,000 genders that are out there. For the Australian listeners, apparently the Arias are getting rid of the best female and male categories for the awards, because the time of gendered awards is over, and so now we'll have 10 people. So all the genres, all the genders can now compete for the best vocalist or some crap like that. It's like, all right. Well.
Oh, that's so funny.
Cutting corners and costs and putting it down to social good.
Well, yeah, identify as non-binary. It's like, yeah, but unfortunately by doing that, you've made everyone else that. So you've got binary and non-binary, which is a binary. See the problem here. And also, is that disrespecting bisexuals? If there's more than two genders.
Well, it disrespects the trinaries, which is what I am. I'm a trinary, which means three spirits. Yeah.
So you like males, females, and trees.
And the sort of androgynous alien.
War of the Worlds. Triffid.
Yeah.
Don't tell anyone I'm into Triffids.
Yeah. He's a plant. Anyway, he loves the plants, yo. It's strange though. It's like, gender is a social construct. It's like, well, I don't really see ferrets having this problem.
Monty, that's actually a gender. I like bloody flowers and fruits and this and that. And I like digging.
But you're not going to have a romantic relationship. You're going to have a romantic relationship with a daisy, eh?
Hold on.
Oh, I love to.
I don't know. It's one
Many times I've laid in a field with a sexy dandelion.
Sexy. I could actually make it into soap and lather myself up.
Yeah.
Anyway,
let's just quickly pivot in the conversation and go to mental illness.
Well,
anything else for another mental image?
Yeah, well, exactly. It is radio. Now,
yes, it is. Thank you for that. Yes, but did you hear? There was a story of a woman married a tree, and they broke up because apparently they broke up because apparently the tree cheated on her.
Yeah,
you're always out with the boys down the
rooting another tree down the road. Yeah.
You guys are getting the water from the same river. Saw your roots touching down there.
Yeah, when that fungus gets around town. That's a highbrow joke.
And then you get the fungi, mate. Yeah, don't get the fungi around.
Well, no, some of the fungus can grow up to be 500 meters square because all of the connection underneath of the ground. So it's all one organism instead of 20,000 little
mycelial networks.
Yeah, exactly.
I was very suspicious when the apples came out black.
Oh, well, on that moment, host, guest. Do I have to put out name tags? Because it's not going to really work on radio. You're listening to... Oh, I'm going to go into my FM voice. You're listening to Revolution Radio Studio A. This is Planet Collingwood. We're doing our thing. I hope you're enjoying it. Stick around for these messages, and we'll be right back. 3 a.m. eternal. Okay, let's go to rock ya. Ancient moo. Yep, I just aged myself there. Welcome back to Revolution Radio, Studio A, Planet Collingwood. My name is Monty Dean. I have been joined by Brandon Young, Cortek, Aust Paul, and Pony's in the green room munching down on some cashews, which is, very hard for a pony because, it's very hard to open those packets with the hooves, because, unless you... It's a visual gag. Anyway, if you enjoyed the last hour of said show, Planet Collingwood, please go to freedomslips.com and donate what you can. Click on the Patreon button and go from there. Share what you can. 100% listener supported. We're doing this for fun. This is the comedy show on the station where, at the staff meeting, everyone turns up and is like, why is he in a clown suit? But, there you go. And, yeah, there's a visual and card table. I'm going to buy Cortek a card table so he can have his little desk and my first. It's
all about the name triangle.
Yeah, my first office made by Fisher Price. Be awesome.
I can put my first ATM next to it as an actual product.
Yeah, yeah, I know. The fees are outrageous though. So, just on a personal note, tomorrow morning I have to wake up way too early and drive my mother to an operation because she's getting her cataract done.
For the best, then.
Well, yeah, actually, yeah, it's a good side of technology of old people won't go blind, and so I'm going to.
You can see.
Well, once you're up, it's the most amazing time of the day if you can get up to see it.
No. In lockdown, really? What week are we on now? Is it 5 or 6? I can't remember.
I had one of those tests last week. One of those cataract, not eye tests, sort of thing.
You still have an eye?
I do. I do. Luckily, and but it was really bizarre. How they test it, they do all these like lights in your eyes, and then you have to. It feels like you're doing the Ludovico technique from Clockwork Orange.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, my mum sort of said that like this is still this white dot because they shine it for so long. Yeah. It's like, can you see this? Like, my
retina is burning. I can forever. Everywhere I look, there it is.
You've burnt the nerve to on, just like when you lose your hearing.
Yeah.
The colors, children, the colors.
Well, they give you this sort of this mixture that you just this drop that you drop in your eyes. It's some kind of
yellow solution. A yellow solution that makes your eye go numb.
Well, there's that. This one enhances your pupils, right? So what
the same solution does it. Yes,
you're tripping. You're basically tripping.
Yeah, I was basically So like, where can we get this? Like,
it's actually cocaine into your eye.
I was going to go with magic mushroom. It's more healthier that way, but
no, because it's.
What did you do on the weekend?
Cocaine's in. Well, I can announce a few parts where you can actually get legal stuff, but the ones that they drop in your eye, the yellow solution is actually cocaine based, so it numbs the whole area, and they can, well, in my case, pull out the metal shards. But yeah.
Well, there's a story I don't think we need to hear.
In the other cases,
you've said enough. It's like, ooh.
Yeah, I know. Just to be nice, In the other cases, it's just to numb the eye so they can put a light down. Well, it's not quite a light. It's actually telescope, and they look into the back of the eye retina, and see how many
around.
Yeah. And so technology that actually does help people. I'm sure there's a more safer and easier way to do it, but there's no money in that.
Not for pulling out shards of stuff out of your eye.
Well, yeah. See, if I was your doctor, I'll just get the magnet out. So
no.
Stand still, Paul.
Pull the whole eye out.
No, it's grinding dust and stuff like that.
Magnet, dude. I didn't say what size magnet.
Always with the magnets.
Yeah. Take that electromagnetic pulse.
Go on the frontal lobe with your magnet. High powered. Yes. Monte. I can't see. Sorry.
Why are you holding your tongue? Yes, I had a stand-up routine about piercings, and I'll quickly do a little bit of it now because I don't think I'll be leaving the house for a month or and a half. I've got an eyebrow piercing, but the guy who actually did it has 3 genital piercings, and he did it himself. Bold move. I'm just gonna and I did wonder if he takes them out, does he pee like a lawn sprinkler? And if a girl is pleasuring him, is it actually a flute? But yeah, I'd like to get a real industrial strength magnet, and just before he's going to make love to his girlfriend, turn it on and make him move around the room. See,
I'm just thinking about the engineering needed for the big magnet. But it's possible, but take a lot of work.
Yeah, see, that's why I'm huge in stand-up comedy world from that reaction. Now, obviously, I do actions on stage.
Yeah.
And, my crowd isn't so friggin' cynical.
If you were gesticulating with that, I reckon I would have been laughing my tits off.
Okay, Monty's doing the sexual moves and saying we turn on the magnet, boom, and we're stuck to the wall.
Yes, I'm starting to understand those memes now. You know, there's memes of Chad and stuff. But yes, good times. Well, but yeah. It's the best of times. It's the worst of times. It's. I think we have passed a tipping point where governmental tyranny is a joke. I think it's something. It's got to the point where, hang on a moment, they don't have control. They have no idea what they're doing. These people are funny.
For a lot of time, it just seemed like a possibility, didn't it?
Well, yeah, because a lot of Americans say, why don't you see you've lost your guns, you won't rise up. I don't think anyone in Australia is like, yeah, we need guns. It's more of like, I'm going to protest, and if I meet him on the street, I'll give him a bit of a punch on. We're not at that level, so. Ooh.
I agree.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Pony's just shared an article which is kind of pointless for radio, unless I read it out. Victorian police will temporarily suspend public transport network in Melbourne CBD in bid to disrupt the anti-lockdown protests, because there is a protest planned for this Saturday. Because and it's definitely nationwide, and it may be global. Now, if you want to see the world's over and life sucks, it's like, oh, no, my friend. Look at this. It was
look at
150,000 people over the weekend in the Netherlands, and there's like 7 other countries. Brazil is going off like a frog in a sock in a fry pan. Like the thousands. France is still maintaining the rage. I can't remember. That's an Australian term, and I can't remember what. I think it's a sporting reference. I can't remember.
Vive la France.
Oui, yeah. The media's not touching it, because if they show it, people will get ideas of like, wait a moment, the government doesn't have control over us, and so there's this big pushback. The legalities. There's a lawyer in London that's filing a class action lawsuit. Basically, and they're going for the charge of genocide and crimes against humanity. And there's also one for here. There's also one here in Victoria against Dan Andrews. Yes, Paul, go ahead. Ask your question.
Here's a real question for the actual Australians that are really Australians. Do we need the Queen anymore?
Never did.
Did we need the Queen? I think it's the more of the question. No.
Yeah, no. Bugger the Union Jack off our flag.
Yes.
And and describe ourselves as the nation, right? We don't have to pay them anymore. We spend billions upon billions of dollars, and how many people do we have? 25 to 27
millions
million.
And millions, and it's
billions and billions.
It's basically land. That's why it's the crown, but it's the Queen, the crown, but the short version is our sovereign is English, or part German, a foreigner.
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like that. No, since the Australia Act in 1986, we're independent from the United Kingdom, and yet every time there's a new parliament, the government swears an oath.
Always bow down. I know.
It's easier when I can talk by myself. The government actually swears an oath to the Queen, and there's a representative of the Queen.
They swear an oath to the Governor General, who represents the Queen.
Yeah. So when they say, "I swear it's to the Queen," even in the Australian
the Governor General,
he stands. The representative of the Queen stands in front of them, but the words they're saying is to the Queen.
That's correct.
What a bitch.
That's right.
Now,
I totally know.
Now,
so hang on. So if you agree with what I'm saying, why did you interrupt me for 15 seconds?
Do you not know our Australian status and the reasons why we should be going to coerce the Governor General instead of the bloody Prime Ministers or any of them? Because he's got the opportunity to sack the lot.
Yeah, they did that in 1975.
I think it's one of those buttons that the people should be able to push in such emergencies as this.
Yeah, but it's got to be allowed.
All of you sacked. Yeah. No confidence in you guys whatsoever.
In the words of Eddie McGuire, you're all boned. You're all boned. Get out.
The first time in the planet's history, every single nation has pushed the button at once.
Yeah, but the problem is, there's another problem, but we'll get to that in a minute. The problem is that the Queen's representative has to go to the Queen and get permission to do that. Because he's a representative.
We've got no correspondence at her through.
So we're going to have to coup through this.
No. So even if there's enough, even go through the.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Because
because the correspondence.
What do you mean? No. So he's not. He's not
therefore, if you send it 3 times and she doesn't give the right answer, therefore you can actually do what you need to do. You just got to send 3 letters. It's not that hard.
Even if you send them to the wrong address, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. So you're saying that the Governor General, the representative of the Queen, has no communication to Buckingham Palace except for a pigeon.
That is correct.
That's correct.
Right. Maybe we should update the communication. Yeah, because we're so far away from the rest of reality. Yeah.
But what do we do then with that whole line of homing pigeons that have been, used for 100
My response to that. My response to that in Australian language. My response.
They taste delicious.
Shut up, jeez.
They taste delicious homing pigeons.
Yeah. Maybe get your own show. I don't know. Putting it out there. My response to that is, in Australian language, bull. See, it's so much easier. Timing. We don't have any.
I completely forgot what we're talking about now.
Yeah. See, something about a drag queen. I'm not sure. So
yeah.
Yeah. Now, allegedly, because who knows these days? Apparently, if the Queen drops off the perch, they'll put forward, does Australia want to become a republic? Because we're being nice to her. But if you remember 21 years ago, was it 99? So 22 years ago, the Queen was asked, Mom, what would you think about Australia becoming a republic? If they want to, they can.
So you should just turn it on and do it then.
It's like, well, then release us, mummy. Release us. And isn't that great? Prince Charles, at the age of 76, still calls his mother mummy in public, on stage, with a podium and a microphone. I was just talking to mummy.
Can you do me a favour? Get the royal people to wipe my butt.
Feels too cold.
I just did a poo-poo.
Anywho.
Yeah, let's go to our non-Commonwealth guest and wonder if we put him to sleep with all this royal talk. Brandon, what's your position on the royal family? Yep, fair enough. I'll take that.
Are they royal?
First question we should really be asking, isn't it? Is anyone? Going back to Egypt, all you had to do was have a mum that had a dream that they had it off with a god to have your children worthy of the throne.
It was Zeus. It was a duck. It's like, no, the baby looks like Pedro. He's down the road. What are you doing? The problem with the royalty, no, it's divine right. God has it's Queen Elizabeth II's ancestor killed all the other people. That's how they did it. Have you heard of the Tudors? Like the War of the Roses? God says I'm king. Well, God says I'm king. Let's kill each other. Like Jesus going, oh man, Dad, they're not brotherly love.
We can't both be right. And Jesus is up there going, you can both be right.
Well, it's like when the French, we have God on our side, and the English, we have God on your side, and God being a German, whatever, go for it.
Then First World War won.
Yeah, actually, there you go. I'm going to run with that. Yeah, German. God's a German. Hello, how's everything going?
Yes, we make war. Yes.
Yeah, well, no, Germans do not make war. We tried to stop the war, then we got blamed. This is why I'm upset. I'm just putting it out there. Yeah. Now the thing is, you can see that the German efficiency is in evolution. Yeah, because evolution. Was created by me, and I'm God.
Bomb, the atomic bomb, the summer rockets, and this and that. Where the Australians done the black box, the one that you need to be sitting on. Our contribution to
which is orange.
World. Yeah, which is orange.
Well, it could be seen because I think we'll make this black. We can't find it. Because it's dark down there. We'll make it bright orange. Yeah, that's all right, yeah. But we'll call it a black box. Yeah, that will stuff them up.
No, muck them up.
And after 9/11, I still maintain they should make black boxes out of passports because the passports survived the crash and the black boxes didn't, allegedly.
I know. How ironic was that?
Oh, there you go. We can talk about 9/11 because we actually have a reason to. The anniversary of 9/11 was on Saturday, and the war criminals gathered for a ceremony. It was like, did you see that photo of the Bush Jr., Clinton, Obama, Biden, and I'm like, just arrest them. They're just there. It looked like a bad lineup.
They're all there at once. Someone do something with them all together there. Oh.
Yeah, and then but Trump didn't turn up to the ceremony. No, he went to a local firehouse and got praised. Yeah. So should we do it? Yeah. Pones is still in the green room. So if you want to come back and talk about 9/11, where we can definitively say that the conspiracy theory about 9/11 is the official story. Because the official story doesn't make sense.
Well, you have all those things like the engineers report and everything else about it, which just feels like it's just another dodgy version of this COVID. Same kind of patterns. Seems like kind of robberies going off left, right, and center, and then all the kind of chaos and turmoil. You've got governments passing laws against in taking away people's liberties.
No investigation, and after 3 weeks, they moved all the evidence to China. They sold it for scrap. Only the $150 a ton instead of $250 a ton US to the Chinese. There. Yeah, nothing's else there. It's like, oh no, we don't. It's like the election in November. We won. Can we check the results? No. All right.
Yeah. Well, yeah, 9/11. I mean, jeez.
Wasn't there wasn't one aspect of it, one prong of it, like a robbery of the gold that was in the basement that was promised to China?
Probably. Yeah. I do remember, like, because it was near. Yes, there was a vault, and all the gold went missing. Building 7 collapsed due to peer pressure. If I remember that.
And it was like Die Hard 2 in the city kind of thing.
3 with a vengeance.
3 where the subway blast goes off, and then like 5 seconds later the dump trucks are there and they go, "Oh, you guys work fast." Yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like.
So, Lord Perney, what would you like to add about 9/11?
Nothing at the moment.
Revolution Radio in its 11th year. We talk about 9/11. About the anniversary. We've said enough.
I think that's code. I think that's some kind of code.
It's code there. Like, the helicopter's over my house right now. I can't say a thing.
I forgot my combination to my lockbox.
Pony's making you think about it by saying that.
Like, do you remember in 9/11, the 4 planes were in the air and somehow they turned off their transponders?
Yeah, and somehow someone made a cell phone call from.
Yeah, exactly. And then 6 months later, they rushed the technology in because they realized, that's a big mistake. Those brave people of Flight 93, they made phone calls. How? Shut up. And a guy from the Federal Transport Administration or something like he was in the Situation Room with Darth Cheney, and Darth was actually asked, should we scramble some jets, or they were ordered, instead of flying from the DC or Maryland, like that really close, instead of flying to New York to protect and actually have a defensive shield, they were told to fly 200 miles out to the Atlantic Ocean. It's like, okay.
And the other bunch of jets I heard were on some kind of practice thing up in Canada or somewhere north, or something like that. That was a simulation of what was going on anyway. So how's that?
There was a drill the same day for the exact same thing, and I remember seeing footage where a flight, not attendant, flight. They tell where the planes go. Those guys, what are they called?
Flight controller.
Flight controller. Thank you very much. Yep. Sorry, my brain just went pushing tin. Like, yes, I know the film.
Is this real world or exercise?
That's the one. Yes. Yeah. Actually, there's a documentary called 9/11 in Plain Sight, and it was shown on Channel 10, which is a free-to-air channel here in Australia, in 2006. And they didn't actually say, it was the Jews. They just asked questions for 90 minutes. And I was amazed they actually showed it on Australian television. I bought a copy of that DVD, and it says on the back, shown on Channel 10. And 15 years later, I'm doing this show right now.
Let's not forget about the announcement the day before as well, because it feels like that's part of the package. $2.3
trillion. That's a big couch that the Pentagon had. We lost the money down the back of the couch.
We don't know where it went.
Yeah.
Monty, but news actually meant to be news back in the day. Both sides of the trees, and we get the good, bad, and the bad, right? But you had to read it through the Age or the Herald Sun or whatnot, right? They wouldn't show too much on publication TV, but they would tell you that was on the newspaper, so you could actually go to the article before mobile phones.
Yeah, the media was more controlled back then. Like in the 1980s, we had 3 well, I think in the 70s you only had 3 channels and the ABC, and then 1980 Channel O moved to Channel 10.
How many newspapers did we have?
Wait till the end of the sentence. In 1980, Channel O moved to Channel 10, and O became SBS, which was another government channel for the ethnic population, and for young teenagers like myself, we get to see boobies because of all those French films.
Woo!
Oh, yeah.
How's this? At the time, the entire yearly budget for talking about the $2.3 trillion that was announced lost the day before. At the time, the entire yearly budget of the U.S. government was about $1 trillion, and the DoD budget was about half that. $2.3 trillion represented more than 4 years' entire budget for the Pentagon.
Mm-hmm. And then they lost another $6 trillion about 8 years later, or something like that. Well, how big is the couch at the Pentagon? What's going on?
Well, we did it again.
How many? That's why they've let in the floodgates. Let the illegals come and then work and then tax the hell out of them once they lock the doors again. It's Biden's
to be fair,
new idea.
They are called.
No, it's Biden's new idea.
Yeah.
Gone.
Yeah. All the Pentagon. Get it? The bunny's gone.
Yeah, the Pentagon. Yeah. Take it away, please. They didn't do it well enough 20 years ago.
I remember in an episode of MASH, Colonel Potter was yelling at someone, rightfully slow, and he said,
cleaner.
Sure, why not? It was another character. And he was basically saying, I have to hear back from the Pentagon, the building with 4 walls and a spare. Like, hey. Interesting enough, I can't remember the date. It was, the year. But the date that they started building the Pentagon was on September the 11th, 1942. Yeah. It's like nothing sus.
Nothing sus.
Right during World War II, they started to build this. And it was such an emergency, supposedly. And it was I forget the exact designer, but the fact that it's a protection symbol is no accident,
Yeah, there's 4 rings, and it's a it looks like this shape of a dice from Dungeons and Dragons. It's like, wow, it's a 5-sided dice. And if you're into time travel timelines and just what would happen if the Nazis had won, there's a TV show called The Man in the High Castle, which I think is a Philip K. Dick story.
Book. It's awesome.
Yes,
that's correct.
The TV show is pretty good as well, but it just shows of how they invaded. They dropped a bomb on Washington, and they explain what changed in the timeline. They just this one thing, and basically America was split into 2, where the Japanese had the West Coast and the Nazis had the East Coast, and it's fascinating to see how. Because it's 20 years after the war and stuff like that. It's if you ever wanted to see I wonder what would have happened if we lost. That shows a pretty good start.
Just watching the day-to-day kind of how people deal with other people in the society is amazing. It's amazing. It just makes you think about how. Yeah.
After 2 decades of the average American was Nazified. And it's the party and everything else. Like it's the American version of Nazism, and it's like wow. But it's still got that problem of can't say that word on radio. Stupid head politics, and and of course there's time travel and all that type of stuff. And it's fascinating because the premise is. In occupied the United States, they keep seeing these movies which are actually from this timeline where the Allies had won, and it gives hope to the resistance of like, wait, hang on. So that classic 4 mile running thing. If someone couldn't get humans couldn't really run a mile in 4 minutes until Roger Bannister did, and then ever since people have been breaking it all the time.
There's also in the book or in the story. There's also the book that is talked about, which actually is like this. It's like a revolutionary book, and it talks all. Do you guys remember that, or I'm not sure if it will be in the TV show, but then it's also like this hyper sigil inside the story, talking about the story in a reverse way. So talking about reality, but in that reality, talking And through that, it's really kind of powerful how the energy bounces back and forth in that.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, and the main premise is Hitler he survives and he gets shot in the show, and Himmler takes over, and basically they find this portal somewhere, and they realize they can actually go to other timelines, and of course, being Nazis, we could take over all of these timelines. They're trying to break through, and they'll send tanks in, and it's like, really, like, the ego megalomania side of things of like, we have found this portal to other places. Let's invade and take it over. And like, yeah, good luck with that.
They basically become Hydra.
Basically, yeah. And I would love it if the first place they actually went to is the timeline where Nikola Tesla was treated as a god, where the Jetsons actually turned out to be the 1960s. So they try quick forward, and then all of a sudden what's the word? Disintegration. When you make something disappear.
Dissemination.
No,
disintegration.
Disintegration, yeah. What Paul said sounds like. Yeah, it sounds like not animal husbandry. Well, I'm not going to impregnate a tank. I mean, jeez, come on. Oh, wow.
Okay, I'll give it a crack.
You're impregnating. My golly gosh. There's a couple of fantastic scenarios that you've actually said tonight. Yes, and impregnation a tank. My golly gosh, I'd never ever thought that I'd heard that.
You got to get a tank.
We have a question from the chat room just to prove that I am
was that a water tank?
Look, they've got a water tank. Well, that's not that dangerous. Oh, but it's falling over. It could hurt someone. We have a question from the chat. 2 speakers. Obviously, I think they're typing quickly. Why did Aussies give up their arms, give them up, or else? It was a hint of mind control because of the shock of the Port Arthur massacre. Everyone felt bad, and so like, well, we can't do this again. And so
we felt
let me, hey Paul, I was going to hand you the ball because you have a better connection to this because you've said it before on the shows. But the legal binding citizens gave up their weapons. The criminals didn't. Now, Paul, can you give your experience from it? Because did you lose any? You knew people that lost guns. Did you lose certain guns yourself? I can't remember.
Well, I had to sell my guns because I hurt
myself.
So that's a yes. So I couldn't. Yes. So I had to sell some guns.
And everyone had to get rid of semi-automatic weapons.
Did they offer good prices, or was it lowballing price?
No. All good. No.
Yeah.
Similar price to what a.
Okay, yep.
Depending.
Yeah. You have to give up your guns. We're going to give you half what they own. I don't think so, mate. And so they would have. Yeah.
This is my P license, my pistol license. Like Americans can carry and this and that, but Australians can't. But we're allowed to go shoot, and we're allowed to keep it in the car and this and that, and also on private property.
So there's still weapons here. Out of mind. Yeah, still weapons
that's
here.
That's what I'm saying. Out of sight, out of mind. For a club shoot and this and that, we all do our dues, and we're allowed to do that.
Yeah. And Paul, you'll love this. I was on a call earlier this week, and the thing about Australians and guns came up, and it said, it was around about 500,000 guns that were handed in and it was only automatic. It wasn't just all weaponry.
No, there were semi-autos.
Semi-autos. Yeah.
No one really had automatics.
Yeah, well, yeah. So,
lever
so it was just a small
pump actions were semi, and then they banned pump action, so it's side by side or under and over now. Which is good for skeet shooting.
Yeah, well, I freaked out 20 people on the call because they said, I've never seen a gun in real life apart from on the hip of a police person. And they're like, what? It's like, welcome to Australia.
Really?
Like, Australia gave up their arms, but they didn't give up their legs yet.
That's right. We walked away there, Brandon. We just walked away.
My 5 cents is that, we just fell for a false flag. And the more and more you look into what happened down in Port Arthur, the more it all just looks like one giant setup. And we didn't have anything like a Declaration of Independence that really thought about this stuff and thought about any kind of government coming into control where they would take these acts to disarm the people before they tried to do other things to take their liberties away.
Well, that's also, it's the culture, Australian culture. It's Australian culture. Go ahead.
Yeah, my favourite is I've had a gold licence before half of them were born.
That should count for something.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, exactly. So if they really want to play with me, I go, I'll give you my bloody licence real number, not driver's licence, the gold card licence, which
but it's the culture.
It starts with 7, 1, 2. Then it goes
supplementary numbers 3 and 17. Yeah, all right.
And then 3 more digits.
Bingo!
And then 3 more digits.
Yeah.
Okay. But it starts with that.
Okay.
Good thing I wrote that down.
I just want to quick shout out to the ASIO agents listening in.
Any ASIO agents, yes.
Well, I was going to call the show G'day ASIO, but I'm not sure how the Americans would have figured that out. But plenty Collingwood works. And the difference is in culture.
Mossad.
Do it one
G'day,
word.
Mossad.
G'day ASIO.
G'day ASIO. And alaikum salam Mossad. That would muck 'em up.
The United States actually fought freedom from King George III. I like to say the third because apparently the manders of King George in the United States didn't have the third on the end because the studio, not the people, the studio thought that people wouldn't go see it because they haven't seen the first 2 movies. That's the level of Hollywood for you. And so, there was a Revolutionary War, and they basically no representation. There was taxation with no representation. The tax was only 3%. The good old days, 3%. Australia, we became a technically independent nation because someone filled out a form in a park. And so there isn't that sort of gun sort of mentality and background and just different culture. Even now, there isn't. It's strangely enough, it's everyone outside of Australia saying you should have guns, and the Australians are like, I'm upset, and I may meet him in the car park. We haven't gone. We need armed revolution yet.
No, we don't need it.
Yeah. So it's that sort of level where if we get to weaponry, it's like to quote Mick Marsden from Pink Floyd, who are very English, it's like, it got that bad, we nearly said something. So if you see Australians getting weapons and fighting back, it got really bad because we try and do things a little bit
because
more.
We said something. That's correct.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Yes. And also it's the way that the land interacts with these the people, where half the time it's too hot and the other half it's too cold, and it's like it's that Australian. She'll be right. It's like, I'm not going out there. Bloody hot.
But also our police officers aren't that bad, except for a stupid bunch that gang up on.
Yeah, the psychopaths that they let in. Yeah, the psychopaths that they let in. Yeah,
they're just doing their job for the most part.
Don't get me wrong; they're doing their job, and they are highly stressed. And I get it.
Yeah, and there are some that are enjoying what's going on.
Most of the world sort of get it too, but sometimes some idiots just take it too far, and that goes with every accountability over the world.
Okay, and. Stop. Like with what's happening now, there are some police officers that are really enjoying their job at the moment. They've never hit anyone in a fit of anger. It's been pure pleasure every time. On the flip side of that, you have ex-policemen going, well, I'm glad I got out, as well as certain parts of, I think in New South Wales, there are people in the police
Cops
and the
for
unions.
COVID truth.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, something's off here. We should do better because
we don't want to be used as the strong arm of the Lord to enforce
did you remember?
We don't believe in. Go on, Monty.
Did you remember 2 years?
No, okay. Everyone talk over each other. Yeah, this is why no one listens.
I'm handing the talking stick to Monty.
Yeah. Pass it. Don't hit me.
Sorry.
now I've forgotten what I was talking about.
That's the trick when you get the stick.
Now we have another question. We have another question from the chat. But they are building camps. Yes, they are. But we've had camps for a while here. Not the hardcore FEMA camps, but they're called quarantine camps for whatever. Now,
it's definitely not the right direction.
Yeah, with like most things, like say 5G, it can be used for good and it can be used for ill. And so it's not the best way, but also it's a knee-jerk reaction. It's like because our hotel quarantine doesn't work, that's why the virus gets back out into the community. We go back into lockdown because these people are idiots. And so by giving the illusion of having a quarantine camp or facility, let's be fair here, it can placate the public. It's like, well, we're doing something. Like it's exactly the same with masks. The masks are pointless. If you can smell flatulence and perfume, it's not going to stop the virus.
It stops someone hocking a loogie straight in your mouth is what it does.
Yeah, it's optics. That's all it is. And it's look, I'm doing my bit because I'm wearing a mask. It's like, yeah, but even 100 years ago, people didn't get the Spanish flu, but they got bronchitis because they kept wearing a mask 8 hours a day.
Interesting to see if that's increased. Cases of that has increased and stuff like that too. Sorry, Paul, go on.
Yeah. When I was doing my first aid officers and this and that, the other, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, we always wore a mask. We always wore gloves. We always made sure that we were okay. And we had optional stuff to do triage, first response unit person, hey, you got a cut, we can,
Yeah, but to be fair though, like if Cortek and I get in a car accident, like Cortek's a knob and pulls out in front of me, just no disrespect, Cortek. He just came out of nowhere, like yeah. Now the thing is, like, and Paul turns up with the ambulance and does the thing. Yeah, you're wearing a mask and you're wearing gloves, and that is to minimize infection. Now the thing is, once we're being looked after or put into the ambulance, what happens to those gloves and masks?
They actually get put into a quarantine thing, and they get disposed of in an incinerator.
Yeah, instead of being worn for another 7 hours, and you do 3 other car accidents. Like when you go, you go to your local Aldi and you see people wearing those gloves, which is good for them, but they've just touched everything that I've bought. Like, thanks for that.
Yeah.
So it's the government response is completely stupid to what is actually happening. I actually saw an article a couple of days ago saying, COVID restrictions has stopped influenza. I'm like,
yeah, that's what did it.
Yeah, here's a bit of spin. People are figuring out that the cold and flu and influenza aren't around, but everyone's got COVID. Could it be the same thing? I don't know.
When I went up to the northern hemisphere and this and that, up to Canada, the first thing that I'd done when I got to Whitehorse?
Crack.
Ate a bit of dirt.
Really? Just a bit?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Hey, everyone's got a hobby.
You gotta have a hobby.
Everyone's got a...
He's doing no harm.
To make the microbes in my body... to get adjusted to the environment that I was in.
Yeah, like, if I ever went to South Boston, I'll drink heavily.
Yeah, fair call. Okay, fair call.
Yeah.
Well, when I go to Somalia, I'll get paid really wealthily. But
the interesting thing is I'm basing that whole
different scenarios and different people.
Anyway. Yeah, don't make me cut you. I got you out of this, man. I can cut you out of this.
No.
Yeah, then
you
shush.
go up there.
No, you shush now. I am the host now. I have to see that movie so I can get that reference. I am the captain of this boat now. The only thing I know South Boston exists, and I know there's a reference in Spinal Tap. Well, this is Spinal Tap, where we've cancelled the show in Boston. It's not really a rock town. That's the joke. However, Goodwill Hunting to me is a tourist ad. So I only want to go there so you can like talk in that strange accent and drink heavily and try not to upset. Yeah, try not to upset the Irish.
All right. Well, that's where I'm from.
Yes, I know. That's what I thought. Yeah. I'm trying to bring you into the conversation.
Excellent. Well, I'm trying to join. So here we go.
Come on, bro.
What's going on in Boston?
Hunting's actually filmed in Cambridge, which is really right next to Boston.
Really? I'm 16,000 miles away. Do I really care? Oh, it's only 5 minutes.
I used to listen to KLIF. That's not Boston, but yeah, Cliff Radio.
Oh. Yeah. Can we go back to the person from Boston now?
Well,
yeah.
Well, anyway, but yeah, but we do. I mean, Southie is known for there's Southie, and there's South Boston, and there's Eastie, which is all different parts of Boston. So everybody drinks, I think, but the Irish are known for it, I suppose. And yeah, that's about it. It's a great town,
Yeah. Oh, the stand-up comedy there is brilliant, apparently, as well. That's where Joe Rogan did his bit.
That's right.
And it's known on the map for its thing. And you've got the universities, and that's why it's a college town, and so that's why a lot of bands go through there because kids go out and see bands. Strangely enough.
Yeah, funny enough.
Yeah. And the reason that it's
music.
Yeah, the reason it's full of Irish is because during the famine, where the English said, "Oh no, you're all right. Eat dirt, you'll be fine." It's like, "Oh, bugger this. We're going to America.
Yeah, no,
grab the 18, Cindy, grab the 18 kids. We're going to America now." And they got the bosses like, "Oh, I'm not going to New Amsterdam. We hate the Dutch."
I'm sick of eating shoes. Yes, the leather has run out. Yep.
That sounds Indian. Hello, I am from Cork. Would you like to see my potato?
Oh my gosh, have you not heard about the insurrection of the Taliban?
No.
Sorry, Indian calling.
Hello, we'd like to talk to you about your car registration. Anyway. Yeah, I think that's just an American gag where they're constantly like about your car insurance, and it's been used a lot. My mind just went to someone shared a meme of the Starship Enterprise with Picard as the captain, and it's like what's wrong with the engines? Why aren't we moving? And on the big viewer screen, it's got the the engine symbol that you have on your dashboard.
Yeah.
That was on
check engine light.
Yeah, check engine light on the Enterprise.
That's funny.
But yeah, I can tell because the laughter
it's still ringing. I can't get a word in.
I'm laughing on the inside. It hurts. I can't believe
I was
that.
muted.
Ouch.
I was muted. That was funny.
Thank you, Sergeant Schultz. It's good to have you back.
I know nothing.
It'd be funny if it was like a face of Scotty instead, of an engine.
Oh, that's a recent one. It's like, I don't think we can do it, Captain. The engines are about to overblow. And then Captain Kirk's like, well, don't worry. Just turn it off and we'll float because that's how space works.
Oh, right.
I mean, it doesn't really bring out the drama of the piece, but it's based on scientific fact of if you're traveling at warp 9 and turn the engines off, you'll continue traveling at warp 9. Unless but I do like about Star Trek.
Captain.
I just have to turn it on and off, and that's me for the day.
Yeah, I hit the little button here.
Yeah, but yeah, for braking, you may need me for that. The dish that has on the main part of the ship at the front. It's called a deflector dish. They don't really promote it, but basically what that does, it pushes the crap out of the way. Because if you're hitting light speed, you don't want dust going through you.
Makes sense.
Yeah. It may not save your life, but if you're hanging out with nerds, you can freak them out with that little bit of information.
Oh, very good.
I like those little bits. Those are the little bits of the sci-fi that I love.
Yeah, but be careful.
You may in the background,
Yeah, but be careful. You may end up in a 45-minute conversation. Oh, but the Enterprise D had a bigger dish, and
there's
it would
no
resonate.
possible way that could have structurally supported that dish.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
But don't forget, which generation drive was on the deflector field?
But if you dump the warp drive and explodes, then you lose momentum. And so if the ship is tumbling through space and the deflector shield's not on, what happens then?
Good question.
Spock wasn't full Vulcan. He was a half Vulcan.
And Discovery sucks.
Then you're Voyager. No.
See,
the deflector shield and...
Yeah, I'd rather watch Voyager. And for those playing at home, Picard, the TV show, is getting a third season. They haven't even showed season 2 yet. Now, spoiler alert, at the end of season 1 of Picard's consciousness is copied and put into an android like Data. That's right, Picard has become a Cylon.
Oh, no.
And so basically what you're watching in season 2 and 3 will be a copy of Picard who died. And they're bringing in Q in season 2, and people are making fun of it because they travel back to 2019, and people have and they figured, so there's time travel, and they figured out it's like, so they're just filming in LA now, so they don't have to waste money on sets.
I thought they were going to go to like QAnon or something like that.
I'll see. Because apparently Picard's supposed to be a reflection of what society's like today, and everyone's like, right, because it doesn't look like Star Trek at all. It's a different timeline.
They've lost their way.
Well, yeah, because Star Trek used to be hopeful and challenges and good. And everyone's like, okay, look, we've got this stuff. There's no money, there's no swearing, everything else like that. Then 20 years later, everything goes to pot, and there's swearing and there's drug abuse. And it's like, really, just 2 decades, and Star Trek isn't what we know it to be. Like, you hippie wanker left turn. And so now by going back to 2020, this is where the timeline goes wrong, and I think it's like
5 decades.
No, it'll be more than that, because I think Picard's in 2020.
I'm just saying, you said 2 decades, but anyway, the universe in this net was 5 decades ago.
Picard between
rubbish.
It's 20 years since we haven't seen Picard, so that's 2 decades in the storyline.
Now we sorted that out.
Yeah.
Nerds!
Yeah.
I still haven't figured out.
But I like Picard. No, don't get me wrong. And yes,
right.
I didn't know they were doing 3 at the moment.
That's why I thought I'll mention it.
Sounds
Brandon.
Terrible.
Yes, Brandon.
I'm horrible. I know. I'm a Trekkie.
No, you're Paul. I'm Brandon.
I'm more of a fan of
no. Good luck.
Of the older Trek, with the good old Captain Kirk and the rest, and their adventures. Yeah,
when there's hope and stories and integrity,
exactly,
and all that type of stuff. Yeah. After watching The Last Jedi, I had to cleanse the palate, as they say. And I watched all of Star Trek, the original series, Star Trek, The Next Generation, Star Trek, Deep Space Nine, Star Trek Voyager, and all the films, and then Star Trek Enterprise. I watched 50 years of Star Trek to get The Last Jedi out of me.
Did it work?
Yeah, it took a while, but it's like no, I've been betrayed with Star Wars. So Star Trek, 5 decades of Star Trek, nearly 200 episodes and 11 films. Now we're coming to the end of Planet Collingwood. I hope we've made people laugh. I think we shared some information and we answered questions, which is kind of good. So, Cortek, where can people find you?
I'll be right here because I'm not allowed to go anywhere else.
Yeah, because we're in lockdown, baby. Well, yeah, something like that.
No, I'll be here or going skating or whatever.
Yeah. Well, for any governmental departments, we're staying in our houses, but I'm going out tomorrow. Brandon, thank you for turning up.
Thanks.
Yeah, you've got a life and a job and some crap, so you know.
You can find me at the middle school, helping fifth graders into the lockers. And
that chemical plant really stuffed up the up the town, didn't it? Also, Brandon does have an Instagram as well, which I stalk, so I'll follow. And I occasionally see some of my memes up there, so like, oh, I'm special.
Yes, absolutely. So find me all those places.
Yeah, and Paul, you'll be somewhere on the Gippsland Highway between Heidelberg and Ballarat sometime, I'm sure.
Well, not yet. But anyway, I could be in a truck tomorrow or the next day because sometimes I could do that. The last time was actually 2 weeks ago, and we done one of the biggest markets in the world, Victorian market. We were dropping off. Well, I was truck jockey. Yeah,
yep.
I had
That's right, ladies and gentlemen.
I had a clearance.
That's right.
I had a clearance.
Paul races trucks. He's a truck jockey.
I could be a truck jockey, yes.
Yeah, it's wordplay. I know. I made a joke on a comedy show. And
keep it moving.
Yeah, right.
No, not
wordplay. Well, wind it up. We've got a minute. Come on now. Wind it up.
It's not wordplay. I actually done
you're a truck jockey. Yes, you help out the driver. And I was referring it to like a jockey on a horse. It's not funny when you have to explain the joke. Or is it?
No, it's not.
No, shut up.
Can I ride a horse? And yes, I can ride a horse.
I don't know. I heard what you want to do to a tank. I'm not sure I want to hear about what you do to a horse.
You're not riding this pony.
Yeah, that pony is wild.
No, I don't go ponies. No, sorry, pony.
Thanks for asking, Monty.
I'm trying to get
with the jumper around my waist.
Oh, cool. So you're not doing an after party? Anyway, that was Planet Collingwood. We'll be back in 6 days and 22 hours. Hopefully we can figure out how to speak one at a time. It's been fun. I love you all. Please like, subscribe, and share. And give Revolution Radio money. Thank you. See you soon. Bye.